everyone, I'm Quentin Lister, and today I'm talking with Pamela McClure for our weekly Utah Family Law TV interview. And Pamela, if you'd like to introduce yourself and give us your contact information for those watching at home, that would be great.
Hi, I'm Pam McClure. I am owner of Let's Talk Counseling, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
It's so nice.
Today, so one thing to start off first, I was wondering, Pam, what sets you apart from other mental health professionals?
So, I'm glad you asked that. So what sets me apart from other places is that you can go to my website, you can book your own appointment, you can pick your day and time. It's all online, so you don't have to get ready for the day, you don't have to, get a sitter for your kids or put gas in your car. You can just sit at home. You've scheduled your own appointment. It's very convenient. I really want convenience for my clients. I think that's first and foremost. And I don't do cookie cutter techniques. I use real life experiences that I implement and put into, the practice because, that experience is really helpful because people relate to that experience. And, so that's another thing. And I just feel like I just am there to help and support, and I'm just there, and I want to be with them and I meet them wherever they're at in their struggles. So I also work with individuals, couples, relationships, and I specialize in EMDR. Some people are familiar with that. And EMDR is eye movement desensitized reprocessing, and so it reprocesses traumatic events.
That's awesome. Thank you. And for those of you watching at home, stay tuned because she has some specific tips for those who are having trouble getting to sleep at night, and that's something that she hears a lot of people in her practice go through. And so anyway, so stay tuned for that. But you mentioned the idea of simple versus complex when you're talking about EMDR just now, and I was just curious, what is the difference between simple and complex when it comes to EMDR?
So that's a good question. Simple EMDR in simple trauma is like anxiety or depression or having some panic attacks, things like that, are the simple EMDR. And then more complex is abuse and assault and things like that. So I focus on both. I can help you with either one that you're facing. It's something that takes the emotion out of the event. So what happens is you remember the event of an incident, but I extract the emotions that are tied to that event, and so people can go along with their life and feel happier and healthier in their life and kind of let go of the things that hold them back. And another thing with simple is, say you were held back in elementary school and that held you back your entire life because the messages that you gave yourself were, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I can't go to college, I can't do this or that. And so it really impacts you. And so with a simple complex, we're able to extract those negative messages that we have internally and take those out and implement positive messages. And so that reaffirms them that they are good enough, smart enough, and they do accomplish great things in life. So that's kind of the simple. And then the complex is more of a deep-rooted. And that takes maybe 2 sessions, 3, to do more complex.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing when we were talking beforehand. That was something that stood out to me, was the kind of how it doesn't necessarily need to take a super long time, right? And does it also kind of depend on the willingness of the client to go through the process, or is it more,
Right. So with each client it's a little bit different, but I will say at the end of the process you are so relaxed you want to go home and take a nap. So that's the benefits of the EMDR. It's very calming. But yes, traditional talk therapy can take weeks, months, sometimes years, where this can take days. like 2-3 sessions, things like that are most common. And so it's very quick. And everyone that I have worked with loves it. I work with some of the most amazing clients that are willing to express and tell me their details of their life and help and you know, so I can help them, and they rely on me, and I think it's been just such an amazing career, and I just love what I do. So
thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for answering that question. That was something that I was interested in. So it seems you mentioned also when we were you have some simple techniques when it comes to relaxing. Like if people are having trouble getting to sleep, they need to reduce their anxiety or financial stress or work-related stress. So all these things, just so you know, for our audience back home, many of them are going through divorce and other domestic cases and that stuff like that. And so I think definitely something I've seen in the practice is a lot of people, as they're going through divorce, these things, like, you know, normal people have trouble getting to sleep. Not normal people, that's the wrong term. But, you know, people who aren't going through a divorce or some sort of domestic case are, you know, they themselves have trouble getting to sleep and reducing anxiety. But I just know that, like, when you add divorce into that, it can heighten it and maybe take it to a new level. And so I'm just curious, what kind of simple techniques were you talking about when it comes to sleep and reducing anxiety?
So yes, with anxiety, it's kind of like you can visualize a plant, right? I mean, the outwardness of a plant is kind of the anxiety, what we show people out in the world. You know, our knee can bounce up and down, or we just kind of, you know, get nervous and things like that. And that's kind of the outwardness is the plant. But what I work with is the roots. So we dig down deep into the root system, and we find out what's really causing anxiety.
Right.
And that's the most important. It's not the surface level. It's not like what's, you know, happening behaviorally, but it's like, what is the source? And that's what I'm interested in. And I help you to kind of dig deep and dig down and kind of resolve those things that are the cause of it. Just like you have to nurture a plant, you know, and give it the nutrients and the water and everything that it needs. It's the same thing with healing. And so that's one thing that, you know, for an analogy purpose, you know, helps with anxiousness. Another thing that people do is they can deep breathe, right? I mean, the deep breathing calms the body, it calms the heart rate, and it's really effective. So you want to deep breathe and calm. And you can do this by listening to calming music. You know, you can read a book, you can lay on the couch and just meditate. You can sit, you know, and do meditation, which is really helpful. But then there's another type of anxiety most people don't think about. We think about the calming, but there are people that struggle with anxiety that the calming techniques don't work. Right. And so what they need is to kind of amp it up by distraction, like noises outside. You know, I want to hear the birds. I want to hear a dog barking. I want to hear an airplane flying across. I want to hear the ocean sounds. I want to hear, you know, so they need more of a stimulation type calming, if that makes sense. Right. Or jogging and running. You know, the running and the walking is really helpful for the anxiety as well.
Yeah, no, thank you. And have you seen any sort of things that maybe help with like financial stress or anything like that?
So financial stress is avoidance causes stress. We think that by not looking at our finances that we're more calm. But our body holds stress. Yeah. And so when we're avoiding something, it's manifesting through like stomach aches, headaches, fatigue, like those type of things. We're not able to sleep. And so we're just, I mean, we know it's out there, but we don't want to see it. Right. So what I encourage is people to know your debt ratio, what that is, know exactly where you are financially. If you're married, have your spouse and you sit down and really talk about the finances and know where you're at and have a plan. Because if you have a plan, that's always going to reduce anxiety and stress. So that's what I would encourage with finances.
Sure. Yeah, and then what about work-related stress? Was it a similar thing, or?
So yeah, I have clients that are asking me like, oh my gosh, my calendar is so booked. What do I do? I'm overscheduled. I just don't know how to manage that. And so an easy, effective way to do that is to put a pause in your calendar. Meaning, if you have back-to-back clients that you've scheduled, then instead of an hourly scheduling, do a 45-minute schedule or a 50-minute schedule.
Right.
So each hour, that 15 minutes or that 10 minutes on each hour adds up, right?
Right.
And so you can take that 10 minutes and walk outside of work and, you know, get some sunshine on you, you know, take some deep breaths, or you can get a snack, you know, talk to somebody, make a phone call to your spouse or your kids, or just meditate for a few minutes.
Right.
But those minutes add up, and
Right.
so you're more effective at work if you take those pauses in your schedule, and they do add up, and it is really nice once you have those chunks of time. You can even have those chunk of time at the end of the day if that's what you want. You schedule for that big break at the end of the day before you go home, and as you're driving home, you want to relax and listen to calming music, or just kind of, you know, not be distracted driving, but like really kind of just change from work to home life. And so you're, you know, you do that transition as you drive.
Right.
So.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to the end of our time, but I wanted to give you the chance to talk about. I know you wanted to kind of go through some things that helping people with like getting to sleep and stuff like that. So if you wanted to go through that, you're welcome to. And yeah, we'd love to hear about it.
Okay, so if anybody's listening that is, you know, home and they're near their couch, lay down on your couch right now.
I will not
just
demonstrate.
Stretch out. Stretch out. In my office, they have a couch and they just stretch on out. So anyway, you just lay down, and then you take the initial like 4 really deep breaths. And it's good to lay down because this can make you feel dizzy. If you're not used to getting a lot of oxygen to the brain, it will make you dizzy. So you take those deep breaths and you try to calm. The next step is I want you to take a deep breath in and crunch up your toes. Just squeeze your toes as you breathe in, and then as you exhale, I want you to loosen your toes. And then I want you to tighten your feet. I know that sounds kind of weird, but tighten your feet, and you just like, and then you exhale. And then I want you to tighten your ankles, inhale, and then loosen the ankles as you exhale. And then I want you to move up to your calves, and then I want you to just tense the calves up, and then loosen. And then you move up to your thighs, and then you move up to your stomach area, and you tense up your stomach, and then you know, let go, right? And then you start with your fingers, so your arms are outstretched, and then you just let it go. And it's very slow. It's a very slow process. For time-wise, I'm just kind of moving along pretty fast, but then you tense up your arms, and then you exhale, and then you do your shoulders, and then you do your neck, and you can even do your face, and then you could do the top of your head, your skull, and just tense, and then let it all go. And then you take another 3 deep breaths. And then you scan your body. And this is really important. You do a body scan of any stress or tension. A lot of people feel tension in their neck after still, you know, or they'll feel it in their shoulders or their stomach. Those are the most primary places. Right. And so you want to do the inhale and exhale and just really kind of just loosen that. Another thing you can do that's really helpful during the day. Say you're at work and you're just not going to be able to find a couch, right, to go lay down on, like, you know, and you're feeling stressed. So just feel like, okay, maybe you've got like a stomach issue, right? And so you can put your hand on your stomach, and then you can take a deep breath, and you put your arm out. And as you exhale, you're visualizing all of that tension and stress going out to your arm and out, just out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep doing that until it's just relaxing your, your stomach muscles, and you're just letting it out. And you can do that. It's really effective also with your headache. If you have a headache and you just want to sit for a minute, put your head down, and just put your arm out, and you just take those deep breaths, and the key is to visualize stress just going out of your body, because we're always holding on to stress with our, and it just is super unhealthy because of our, medically we get all kinds of problems from stress. So, so that's my tips for the day.
Thank you. Yeah, just watching that go through. Yeah, that just watching that actually was very relaxing. I didn't participate, obviously, but I could see how that would be really helpful. So thank you, Pam.
Well, something I wanted to mention too that I didn't is that I also work with the only addiction I work with is pornography addiction. I work with young adults and adults with that, so I do specialize in that, and that does set me apart from other places as well. So yes, and we service all of Salt Lake and also other states as well. So if you have loved ones that are struggling and they live in a different state, they can go on the website, they can call. I'll even set up your appointment for you if you need me to, and we'll get started and get working on helping you feel better, because that's what I want. I want all of you to feel better.
Thank you so much, Pam.
You're welcome.
All right.